Hello, Wellspring. It is Thursday, May the 22nd. Sorry this video is coming out a little late. The moving process for Pastor Jerry and Julie, and for myself and Megan and our family. Just been a busy stretch, but thanks for your forgiveness and your grace on being a little late today. So we've been reading through the book of Job. We've been talking about Eastern thinking versus Western thinking, like we can just hear as Westerners. We should trust God. His ways are greater than our ways. But sometimes this ancient Eastern way of teaching was to pile on that information, to give it to you in such a heavy way that you really experience it, that you don't just know it in your head, but it moves into your heart. And so as Westerners, we can get distracted, or we can struggle with hearing kind of, in one sense, the same information over and over. But I'm inviting you to jump into this chapter, as we've been doing the last couple days, of just receiving from God to Job his declaration that his ways are above our ways, that he knows more than we know, that he's got it, that he's in control, that he is thinking about, orchestrating, and handling the business of the entire universe at all times. And it's way more than we could fathom. It's way more than we could even begin to think about. And so we should just trust him, right? And so when Job comes with this question of why is there suffering? Why are bad things happening to me when I'm a righteous person? And his friends are pushing him in that direction. God's answer is this super heavy, super, I don't want to say repetitive. Repetitive is the wrong word, but this super dense, it's this super thick argument of, you need to understand how far beyond you I am, how incredibly, how incredible the distance and the gap is between human wisdom and my wisdom. How incredible the gap is between what you're thinking about and the concerns that you have versus the concerns that God has for the entire universe. And if we would get that in line, we would not even bother to ask the question, why is there suffering? Why is this happening? Because we would trust and know God has this in his hands. God has it under his control. And this is all within his plan, within his purpose. He's working things out for the good of those who love him. He is bringing the earth back to a space of being redeemed. We already talked about Romans 8, but even the earth itself is groaning as if in the pains of childbirth, waiting for its redemption, waiting for its renewal, waiting for its complete restoration, right? Sin entered the world, and since then, God has been working out his path to bringing it back to wholeness, bringing it back to completeness. And the same thing is true of you and I. Sin infects each human being, and it mars the image of God that we bear, and it creates the space for suffering, for heartache, for hardship, for difficulties, for loss, right? It's the enemy who steals, kills, and destroys. But God is progressing his path, his plan through all of human history. And we have to just trust that even if we can't see it, even if it looks bigger than us, even if we don't understand how this is working itself out, God is in the process of restoring all creation, of restoring all lives that will submit themselves to him. God is in the process of bringing about his path and his plan. So with that in mind, we're going to dive into Job 41. And I'll just tell you a little tidbit. The art that I stuck on the thumbnail this week is art, or for this video today, is art that my cousin Lauren created. Lauren is a digital artist, and she created it for me actually several years ago when I won a national championship in the Redemption card game, and I got to make a card. And the card that I decided to make was the Leviathan from the book of Job. And so the card art that you see there is Lauren's, and I just thought I'd give her a shout out and mention that. So that's pretty cool. That in mind, let's dig into the Word of God today. Job 41, I'm reading in the NIV. We're going to hear about Leviathan. Can you pull in Leviathan with a fishhook, or tie down its tongue with a rope? Can you put a cord through its nose, or pierce its jaw with a hook? Will it keep begging you for mercy? Will it speak to you with gentle words? Will it make an agreement with you, for you to take it as a slave for you to take it as your slave for life? Can you make a pet of it like a bird, or put it on a leash for the young women in your house? Will traders barter for it? Will they divide it up among the merchants? Can you fill its hide with harpoons, or its head with fishing spears? If you lay a hand on it, you will remember the struggle and never do it again. Any hope of subduing it is false. The mere sight of it is overpowering. No one is fierce enough to rouse it. Who then is able to stand against me? Who has a claim against me that I must pay? Everything under heaven belongs to me. I will not fail to speak of Leviathan's limbs, its strength and its graceful form. Who can strip off its outer coat? Who can penetrate its double coat of armor? Who dares open the doors of its mouth, ringed with its fearsome teeth? Its back has rows of shields tightly sealed together. Each one is so close to the next that no air can pass between. They are joined fast to one another. They cling together and cannot be parted. Its snorting throws out flashes of lightning. Its eyes are like the rays of dawn. Flames stream forth from its mouth. Sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke pours from its nostrils, as from a boiling pot over burning reeds. Its breath sets coals ablaze, and flames dart from its mouth. Strength resides in its neck. Dismay goes before it. The folds of its flesh are tightly joined. They are firm and immovable. Its chest is as hard as a rock, hard as a lower millstone. When it rises up, the mighty are terrified. They retreat before its thrashing. The sword that reaches it has no effect, nor does the spear or the dart or the javelin. Iron it treats like straw, and bronze like rotten wood. Arrows don't make it flee. Sling stones are like the chaff to it. A club seems to it but a piece of straw. It laughs at the rattling of a lance. Its undersides are jagged pot shards, leaving a trail in the mud like a threshing sledge. It makes the depths churn like a boiling cauldron, and stirs up the sea like a pot of ointment. It leaves a glistening wake behind it. No one would think the deep had white hair. One would think the deep had white hair. Nothing on earth is its equal, a creature without fear. It looks down on all that are haughty. It is king over all that are proud. And so God is reminding Job again in this thick, dense plan, this dense way of communicating it. I've got this. Could you even attempt to subdue Leviathan? And yet I created Leviathan. Out of my mind, out of my imagination, out of my heart for creativity and beauty and power and splendor and majesty, this creature came into being. This creature with enormous limbs and powerful armor on its back and chest, and lightning from its mouth and nostrils, and smoke and sulfur, and it turns the sea up. God is reminding Job again in another way. You have nothing to fear in the sense of, I've got this in my control. And your sense of justice doesn't compare with my sense of justice. So just remind yourself, church, the God who created Leviathan has all of this in his hands. The God who spit the universe out of his mouth, literally with words, he spoke into existence everything that is, has it under control. He's watching over you. He's watching over me. And when we find ourselves in the place of wanting to ask those questions of suffering, the true answer for us is to rely on God, to say, you know what? I'm not going to ask that question. Instead, I will trust in the Lord. I will put my faith in him. I will put my hope in him, and I will rely on him to pull me through. God bless you, Wellspring. Have a great day, and enjoy that Leviathan art from my cousin.